Hey everybody, this is Jeff here with NVG Games for a brand new web series we're going to do weekly here. It's called Top 5 Tuesdays. Now, what is Top 5 Tuesdays? Well, it's going to be a weekly show, as I mentioned, where I discuss my opinions about the top 5 things that relate to Nintendo, or Nintendo platforms, or Nintendo games, or concepts related to Nintendo, anything Nintendo related. So this week we're going to be doing the top 5 Legend of Zelda games. Now, of course, this is an opinion based show, so this is my opinion. You may disagree with me, you may agree with me. That's fine. You have a right to your opinion just as I have a right to mine. But anyway, this is just my thoughts on what I think are the top 5 Zelda games. So, number 5 is going to be The Legend of Zelda 2, or if you prefer, just Zelda 2, Adventure of Link on the NES. A lot of people hate this particular game because it detracted so far from the series formula, but I personally liked it. I thought it was a pretty good game, and it has some really nice music too. Particularly the title theme is one of my favorites, and there's other good music in it as well. And it's just a fun game, I think. I mean, it was challenging back in the day for sure, but once you've played it a few times, I mean, the game doesn't change, so you know where everything is and you know what to do. So I still get lost in the Great Palace though at the end of the game every now and then because I can't remember the path. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good game, and I think it doesn't get the respect it deserves. And I wouldn't mind seeing Nintendo return to that type of gameplay with a future Zelda title sometime. You know, down the line, maybe on the 3DS they could do like a 2D or 2.5D type of thing, kind of like they have done with other games that they have put on the portable system. Now, number 4 would be the Wind Waker on GameCube. This is another game that was controversial when it first was revealed way back in, it was 2000, yeah, 2001, something like that. At I think it was Space World back then, because Nintendo did their own thing back then. That was they didn't really do a whole lot with E3 back then. Of course, now they do Nintendo Directs, which is also their own thing, but this is before streaming and that sort of thing was common on the internet. So they had revealed a tech demo way back when on GameCube, which is like a realistic Zelda game, and people thought it was going to be that, but it turned out to be Wind Waker instead, which of course is cel shaded, and then people thought it looked kiddie and cartoony, which admittedly it kind of did, but that was kind of the point too, because Nintendo felt that they could convey emotion better through the visual effects of cel shading, and they were right in that regard. And the game was definitely a fun game, and there were tedious points to it. I mean, every Zelda game has parts that some of us don't like the sailing aspect. It took forever to get anywhere, even with the warp spell you can learn. And the Triforce treasure hunting part of the game was a bit tedious as well, but all in all, it was a pretty good game. I was disappointed that they cut out 2 of the dungeons, and I thought that would have fleshed out the game a little bit more and maybe made it a little bit better, but I think they reused those ideas in a later Zelda game, so who knows? Maybe we'll see a return to that style eventually here. We had Phantom Hourglass, of course, and Spirit Tracks that were along the same lines, but they haven't done a cel shaded one since then, I don't think. So who knows? Maybe they'll do another one. I would look forward to it, even if it's on a console. Now, number 3 is going to be Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. I played this game a very, very great deal back in the day. This is before the days of the internet, so I wrote to Nintendo several times asking for help with the game. And that was before I was just a kid then, so I didn't have the money for the strategy guide or anything like that. And like I said, it was before the days of the internet, so I couldn't just go on game FAQs and look up a walkthrough or anything. And they were nice, and they helped me along, and gave me enough information to help me, but not enough to give it away completely. So it helped me figure it out basically. And it was just a fun game to play, and the music was memorable, and the gameplay was very much similar to A Link to the Past, which is also one of my favorites. And obviously it was portable, being on the Game Boy, so you could take it on the go. And then they released the DX version several years later on the Game Boy Color, which added in the color dungeon and gave you a more vibrant looking world, obviously being in color as opposed to black and white on the Game Boy. So they also had the whole dream sequence of things with being on Koholint Island and Was it real? Was it a dream? Was it something in between? Who knows? And now they just announced recently, yesterday or the day before, I forget. I think it was yesterday, that Marin is going to be playable in Hyrule Warriors Legends on 3DS. And this is going to make her first ever playable appearance in a Zelda game, or any game for that matter. She was in Link's Awakening, of course, and you got her to follow you around a little bit in parts of the game, but you couldn't actually control her directly. You were just controlling Link, and she would follow you wherever you went. So this will be interesting to see how she plays as a character in Hyrule Warriors, and maybe if she'll appear in any future Zelda titles. Now, number 2 is going to be Link to the Past on the SNES. Now, this game I played probably even more than Link's Awakening, which is saying something, because I played that a lot. And I even left it on one time back in the day for, I don't know, a week or two straight, because I wanted to complete the game without getting any saves or deaths on the file, because this game, it counts your saves as deaths. At the end of the game, you get a total number. They call it games played. It's not really games played. It's deaths technically, but they count saves in that as well. So in order to get a 0, you have to complete the game without dying and without saving and quitting. You can save and continue, you can't save and quit, I'm pretty sure. So anyways, I did that and left it on for a couple weeks straight, which was crazy. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites, and it set the stage for a lot of the similar things that are used in later games in the series, like Twilight Princess, to the concept of light and dark worlds and that sort of thing. And that's one reason why I personally don't really like Twilight Princess that much, is because it's already been done several times before. But anyways, that's another story. That's another whole video series I might do one of these days. But anyways, yeah, Link to the Past, it had compelling characters, compelling gameplay. It had a lot of new items, and returned the series to its roots of, the top-down gameplay, where Zelda 2 was the side-scrolling. And it was just, like the Legend of Zelda NES basically ramped up. So it was a lot of fun, and definitely recommended to check it out if you haven't. Now, number 1 is going to be probably no surprise to Zelda fans, and that is Ocarina of Time on the N64. This is obviously my favorite Zelda game of all time, and I know a lot of people think it's overrated and that it's hyped up too much, but that's for good reason. It was one of the best N64 games there was, and in my opinion, one of the best games, period, of all time. And it's probably in my top 5 of all time for any platform. Now, I played this probably like 2 weeks straight, I think, when I got it back, when it originally released, the gold version, of course. And finished it, doing nothing but that. I think I got it like right on winter break from school, because that was when I was back in school still. And it just so happened I have time to play the game on break, so that was nice. And it had, the whole great storyline and everything. And it added the Horus Epona, which is the first time that ever been in a Zelda game. It's the first time a Zelda game had been in the 3-dimensional aspect of the world. It wasn't 2D like all the other previous games were. It added the time travel mechanic, which was similar to the light and dark world from Link to the Past, but different enough to feel somewhat fresh. Added a whole bunch of new items and new things like that, and had tons of dungeons to do and tons of stuff to collect. One of my few complaints, though, with the game is you couldn't get the Triforce. The Triforce was nowhere to be found in the game. Why they did that, I'm not sure. There was a rumor for a long time that you could actually get the Triforce in the game, and they used some screenshots that I think were from a beta version or an early version of the game, where the Triforce was originally included, but Nintendo decided to cut it out for some reason. Maybe they couldn't find a way to make it work or fit in with the story or something. Who knows? But that's not possible. It's not in the game at all. I mean, you could maybe hack it in somehow, but Nintendo did not originally put it in the game on the final retail version. So that will be one of my only real complaints of the game. Well, that and you can't skip cutscenes in the game at all. You have to go through them every time. Even if you see them 100 times, you have to go through them. So you're just sitting there mashing the button, if you're replaying it and you already know the whole story, which is kind of annoying. And then Kapor Gabora, the owl, he asks you if you understood, on his scenes. and he says yes or no. Sometimes it will default to no, sometimes it defaults to yes. So you're hitting the button really fast, and you can end up having him repeat stuff, which makes it take even longer, which is kind of annoying. But other than that, the game is a really great game, I think, and those are just minor complaints, really. But it's well recommended to check out if you haven't, and it set the stage for, like I said, future games in the series, like Twilight Princess, which in my opinion is just a ramped up version visually of Ocarina of Time. It's basically the exact same concept, just in Link to the Past. It's kind of like it meshed the two together, basically. Is Wolf Link and regular Link is basically Light and Dark World or Old and Young Link. It's basically the same thing. And the story in Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, is a lot better than Twilight Princess. And it's a lot of been there, done that when you do Twilight Princess after you've already played Ocarina of Time. That's one reason why I didn't like Twilight Princess as much. But yeah, definitely check it out. I think all of them, except for Wind Waker, are on the Virtual Console on either Wii or Wii U. So, or 3DS, maybe on new 3DS as well for Link to the Past. So yeah, definitely check those out, and if you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. You can tell me your top 5 Zelda games, and we'll have a little discussion if you want. And you can hit the subscribe button here on YouTube to subscribe to our channel, and you can check us out at nvideogames.com for Nintendo news, screenshots, trailers, and lots more good stuff like that. And you can follow us at facebook.com/nvideogaming for Facebook, and Twitter at twitter.com/nvideogames to follow us on there. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.